Hello and welcome to Easy English Life. I'm your friendly host, Karen, and I'm delighted to share today's collection of wonderful stories with you. This podcast is specially created for people who are beginning their English learning journey or want to practice basic English in a relaxed, encouraging environment. Today's episode is called Changes and New Beginnings, and we have 5 heartwarming stories about people experiencing important changes in their lives. These stories will teach you useful English vocabulary for describing life transitions, new experiences, and the feelings that come with change. I will speak slowly and clearly, using simple words and sentences that are easy to understand. After each story, I will explain the most important vocabulary words to help you build your English knowledge step by step. Remember, every expert was once a beginner, so be patient with yourself. Our stories today show that change can be exciting, challenging, and ultimately rewarding. We will meet Laura, who starts her first job after graduation and learns about workplace culture. We will follow Kevin as he moves to a new city and discovers how to make friends as an adult. We will watch Sandra adjust to becoming a grandmother for the first time. We will see how Miguel adapts to life after retirement and finds new purpose. And we will join Fatima as she experiences her first winter in a cold climate after moving from a warm country. These stories reflect real situations that many people experience, and they will help you learn English words for talking about major life changes, emotions, and personal growth. Are you ready to explore these life transitions together? Let's begin with Laura's first day at her new job. Laura graduated from college 3 months ago with a degree in marketing, and today is her first day at her new job with a small advertising company. She feels excited but also nervous about starting her professional career and making a good impression on her new colleagues. Laura wakes up early and chooses her outfit carefully. She wants to look professional but not overdressed for her first day. She wears a navy blue dress with a light sweater and comfortable shoes for walking around the office. The advertising agency is located in a modern building downtown. Laura arrives 15 minutes early because she wants to show that she's punctual and enthusiastic about the job. She takes deep breaths in the lobby to calm her nerves before going to the reception desk. "Good morning," Laura says to the receptionist. "I'm Laura Chen, and today is my first day working in the marketing department." The receptionist, Mrs. Garcia, smiles warmly. "Welcome to Creative Solutions. I'm so glad you're here. Let me call your supervisor, Mrs. Johnson, to come meet you." Mrs. Johnson appears quickly and greets Laura with a firm handshake. "Laura, welcome to our team. I'm excited to work with you and show you how we operate here. Are you ready for your orientation?" During the orientation, Mrs. Johnson gives Laura a tour of the office and introduces her to different team members. Everyone seems friendly and welcoming, which helps Laura feel more comfortable and confident. "This is your workspace," Mrs. Johnson says, showing Laura to a desk near a large window. "You'll be working closely with our social media team on client campaigns. Don't worry if everything seems overwhelming at first. Everyone learns gradually." Laura meets her immediate team members, Jake, who manages social media accounts, and Maria, who designs graphics for advertisements. They explain their current projects and offer to help Laura understand the company's processes and expectations. "We have a very collaborative culture here," Jake explains. "We share ideas freely and help each other solve problems. Don't hesitate to ask questions. That's how we all learn and improve." Laura's first assignment involves researching target audiences for a new client's product launch. She spends the morning reading about market research techniques and analyzing customer demographics. The work feels challenging but interesting, and she enjoys applying knowledge from her college courses to real business situations. At lunchtime, Maria invites Laura to join several colleagues at a nearby restaurant. Laura appreciates the invitation because it gives her a chance to get to know her coworkers in a more relaxed setting outside the office environment. "How are you feeling about your first day?" asks Maria during lunch. Starting a new job can be both exciting and stressful. "I'm feeling good," Laura replies honestly. "Everyone has been so helpful and patient with my questions. The work seems interesting, and I think I'll learn a lot here." After lunch, Laura attends her first team meeting, where they discuss ongoing projects and upcoming deadlines. She listens carefully and takes notes, trying to understand how the team coordinates their work and makes decisions together. Mrs. Johnson assigns Laura a small project to complete by the end of the week, creating a presentation about social media trends for young adults. Laura feels proud that she's being given real responsibility so quickly. By the end of her first day, Laura feels tired but satisfied. She successfully completed her initial tasks, made positive connections with colleagues, and gained a better understanding of her role and the company culture. "How did your first day go?" Mrs. Johnson asks as Laura prepares to leave. "It was wonderful," Laura says sincerely. "Thank you for making me feel so welcome. I'm looking forward to contributing to the team and learning more about the advertising industry." That evening, Laura calls her parents to share the good news about her successful first day. She realizes that starting her professional career feels like an important milestone in her adult life. Kevin accepts a job promotion that requires him to move from his small hometown to Chicago, a big city where he doesn't know anyone. At 28 years old, Kevin faces the challenge of building a new social life and adjusting to urban living after growing up in a rural community. Kevin's first week in Chicago feels lonely and overwhelming. His new apartment is nice, but the city seems huge and impersonal compared to his hometown, where he knew most people and felt comfortable everywhere he went. "I miss home already," Kevin tells his sister during their daily phone call. "In our town, I could walk down Main Street and see 5 friends. Here, I'm surrounded by millions of people, but I don't know anyone." Kevin's sister gives him encouraging advice. "You need to put yourself in situations where you can meet people with similar interests. What activities did you enjoy back home?" Kevin thinks about her suggestion. Back home, he played basketball at the community center, volunteered at the animal shelter, and attended a book club at the local library. Maybe he could find similar activities in Chicago. Kevin researches community centers in his neighborhood and discovers one that offers adult basketball leagues. He's nervous about joining because he doesn't know how competitive the players might be, but he decides to attend a practice session. At the basketball practice, Kevin meets several friendly guys around his age. They welcome him to the team and invite him to grab pizza after the practice. Kevin feels relieved to have found a regular activity and potential friendships. "I just moved here for work," Kevin tells his new teammates over pizza. "I'm still learning my way around the city and trying to meet people." "That's tough," says Marcus, the team captain. "But you picked a great neighborhood. There's always something happening here. We usually hang out after games, and there are lots of good restaurants and bars nearby." Kevin also decides to volunteer at a local animal shelter on weekends. The volunteer coordinator is happy to have help, and Kevin enjoys working with the dogs and cats while meeting other animal lovers. Through volunteering, Kevin meets Sarah, a woman his age who has lived in Chicago for 5 years. She offers to show him around the city and introduce him to her friend group. "Moving to a new city as an adult is really difficult," Sarah tells Kevin. "I went through the same experience when I moved here. It takes time to build friendships, but Chicago has amazing people once you find your community." Sarah invites Kevin to join her friends for trivia night at a local pub. Kevin hesitates because he feels shy about meeting a whole group of new people at once, but he knows he needs to step outside his comfort zone. The trivia night turns out to be fun and relaxed. Sarah's friends are welcoming and include Kevin in their conversations and jokes. Kevin realizes that many of them are also transplants from other cities who understand the challenges of starting over in a new place. Over the following months, Kevin's social life gradually improves. He becomes a regular player on the basketball team, continues volunteering at the animal shelter, and develops friendships with Sarah's group. He also explores different neighborhoods and discovers restaurants, museums, and parks that make Chicago feel more like home. "I'm starting to really like living here," Kevin tells his sister 6 months after moving. "It took time to adjust, but I've found my place in the city. I have good friends, activities I enjoy, and I'm learning to appreciate all the opportunities that a big city offers." Kevin learns that building a social life in a new city requires patience, effort, and willingness to try new activities. Most importantly, he discovers that many people are open to friendship when you make the effort to connect with them. Sandra receives the exciting news that her daughter Jessica is pregnant with her first child, which means Sandra will become a grandmother for the first time. At 52 years old, Sandra feels thrilled about this new role, but also uncertain about what being a grandmother involves in modern families. "Mom, I have wonderful news," Jessica announces during their weekly Sunday dinner. "David and I are expecting a baby. You're going to be a grandmother." Sandra feels overwhelmed with joy and immediately hugs her daughter tightly. "Oh, Jessica, this is the most wonderful news. When is the baby due? How are you feeling? I'm so excited." As the initial excitement settles, Sandra begins thinking about what kind of grandmother she wants to be. Her own grandmother was very traditional and somewhat strict, while her mother was more relaxed and playful with grandchildren. Sandra wants to find her own style that fits with contemporary parenting approaches. Sandra starts reading books about modern grandparenting and talking to friends who are already grandmothers. She learns that today's grandparents often have more active roles in their grandchildren's lives while still respecting parents' authority and decisions about child-rearing. "I want to be supportive without being interfering," Sandra tells her friend Margaret, who became a grandmother 2 years ago. "I want to help Jessica and David, but I don't want to overstep boundaries or offer unwanted advice." Margaret shares her experience. "The key is communication and respect. Ask Jessica what kind of support she wants, follow their parenting rules, and remember that times have changed since we raised our children." Sandra attends prenatal appointments with Jessica when invited and helps prepare the nursery. She enjoys shopping for baby clothes and furniture while learning about current safety recommendations and parenting products that are different from when she raised Jessica. When baby Emma is born, Sandra falls in love instantly. Holding her granddaughter for the first time, Sandra feels a profound connection and overwhelming desire to protect and nurture this tiny person. However, Sandra also discovers that being a grandmother involves navigating new family dynamics. She wants to spend lots of time with Emma, but she needs to balance her eagerness with respect for Jessica and David's need to bond with their baby and establish their own routines. "I love having your help, Mom," Jessica says during Emma's first month, "but sometimes I need to figure things out for myself. I hope you understand that it's not personal. I'm just learning to be a mother." Sandra appreciates Jessica's honesty and adjusts her approach. Instead of offering constant advice, she asks how she can be most helpful and follows Jessica's lead about visiting frequency and types of assistance. Sandra finds her grandmother role evolving as Emma grows. She becomes the fun grandmother who plays games, reads stories, and takes Emma on special outings. She also serves as backup childcare when Jessica and David need date nights or have work obligations. Being a grandmother is different from being a mother, Sandra reflects after 6 months of grandmotherhood. "With Jessica, I felt responsible for every decision and worried constantly. With Emma, I can enjoy the pure pleasure of loving her while supporting Jessica and David as the parents." Sandra develops special traditions with Emma: weekly visits to the park, baking cookies together, and bedtime story reading during overnight visits. These activities create unique bonding opportunities that don't compete with Jessica's parental role. Sandra also appreciates how becoming a grandmother has strengthened her relationship with Jessica. They now share the common experience of loving Emma, and Jessica often seeks Sandra's advice about parenting challenges and childhood development. "You're a wonderful grandmother," Jessica tells Sandra on Emma's first birthday. "You give Emma so much love and attention while always respecting David and me as her parents. Emma is lucky to have you." Sandra realizes that becoming a grandmother has brought unexpected joy and renewed purpose to her life. She loves watching Emma discover the world and feels grateful to play an important role in her granddaughter's development and happiness. For the first month of retirement, Miguel enjoys sleeping late, reading books, and doing home improvement projects he had postponed for years. However, after the initial novelty wears off, he begins feeling restless and somewhat lost without the daily routine and sense of purpose that teaching provided. "I thought retirement would feel like a permanent vacation," Miguel tells his wife Carmen over breakfast. "But I miss having goals to work toward and feeling useful. I never realized how much my identity was connected to being a teacher." Carmen suggests that Miguel explore volunteer opportunities that could utilize his teaching skills while giving him a sense of contribution to the community. "You have so much knowledge and experience to share," she encourages him. Maybe you could tutor students or teach adult education classes. Miguel contacts the local community college about teaching part-time math courses for adult learners. The academic coordinator is delighted to hear from him because they always need experienced instructors for their continuing education programs. We have students ranging from 18 to 70 who are working toward their GED or trying to improve their math skills for career advancement, the coordinator explains. They would benefit tremendously from your experience and patience. Miguel agrees to teach 2 evening classes per week, basic algebra for GED students and practical math for adults entering technical careers. He discovers that teaching adult learners feels different from teaching teenagers, but equally rewarding. His adult students bring life experience and strong motivation that creates an engaged learning environment. Many of them are working full-time jobs while pursuing education, and Miguel admires their dedication and perseverance. "Professor Miguel," says Maria, one of his GED students, "thank you for explaining fractions so clearly. I never understood them in high school, but the way you teach makes everything make sense." Miguel also begins volunteering at the local literacy center, helping immigrants improve their English reading and math skills. This work feels particularly meaningful because he sees how education directly impacts people's ability to achieve their goals and support their families. Through his volunteer work, Miguel meets other retirees who have found creative ways to stay engaged and contribute to their communities. He joins a group that provides free tax preparation assistance for low-income families during tax season. "I'm busier now than when I was working full-time," Miguel jokes to Carmen after 6 months of retirement. "But it's a different kind of busy. I choose my commitments based on what feels meaningful rather than what I'm required to do." Miguel discovers that retirement doesn't mean stopping work entirely, but rather having the freedom to choose work that aligns with his values and interests. He enjoys using his skills to help others while maintaining the flexibility to travel and spend time with family. His teaching experience also opens opportunities for private tutoring, which provides some additional income while allowing him to work with individual students on specific challenges. "Retirement has taught me that fulfillment comes from contributing to something larger than yourself," Miguel reflects. "I may have left my formal teaching career, but I'll never stop being an educator. I've just found new ways to share knowledge and help people learn." Fatima moves from Morocco to Montreal, Canada for graduate school and experiences her first real winter in a cold climate. Coming from a warm, sunny country where the temperature rarely drops below 50 degrees F or 10 degrees Celsius, she must learn to adapt to snow, freezing temperatures, and completely different daily routines. Fatima arrives in Montreal in early September when the weather is still pleasant and warm. She feels excited about starting her master's degree program and exploring a new country. But several people warn her about the upcoming winter. "You think you understand cold weather," says her Canadian roommate Claire, "but Montreal winters are seriously cold. January temperatures can reach -20 degrees F, -29 degrees Celsius, and we get lots of snow. You'll need to buy proper winter clothing." Fatima listens to Claire's advice, but doesn't fully comprehend how dramatically cold weather will change her daily life. In Morocco, she wore light clothes year-round and spent lots of time outdoors, walking and socializing in parks and cafes. When October arrives and temperatures begin dropping, Fatima starts understanding what everyone meant about Canadian winters. She buys her first warm winter coat, insulated boots, gloves, and a wool hat, feeling like she's preparing for an expedition to Antarctica. The first snowfall in November amazes and delights Fatima. She has seen snow only in movies and photographs, so experiencing real snow feels magical and exciting. She takes dozens of pictures and calls her family in Morocco to describe the beautiful white landscape. However, Fatima's enthusiasm for snow decreases quickly when she realizes how much more complicated daily activities become in winter weather. Walking to university takes twice as long because sidewalks are slippery and she must navigate carefully to avoid falling. "I never thought about how snow affects everything," Fatima tells her sister during a video call. "I have to plan extra time for everything. Getting dressed takes longer, walking takes longer, even getting on the bus is more difficult when you're wearing thick gloves and heavy boots." December brings Fatima's first experience with truly cold temperatures and serious snowstorms. She learns about weather warnings, school closures, and the importance of checking weather forecasts before leaving her apartment. Fatima also discovers seasonal depression as the days become shorter and sunlight becomes scarce. She feels tired and sad more often than usual, and Claire explains that many people experience mood changes during Canadian winters. Light therapy lamps can help, Claire suggests, and it's important to stay active and social even when you don't feel like going outside. Many people join indoor activities like gym classes or hobby groups during winter. Fatima follows Claire's advice and joins a fitness class at the University Recreation Center. She also discovers that Montreal has an extensive underground city with shops, restaurants, and walkways that allow people to move around downtown without going outside in extreme weather. By January, Fatima has developed coping strategies for winter living. She keeps extra warm clothes at university, always checks weather forecasts, and plans indoor social activity during the coldest weeks. Fatima learns to appreciate aspects of winter she hadn't expected: cozy evenings with hot tea and books, beautiful snow-covered landscapes, winter sports like ice skating, and the special warmth of indoor gatherings during cold months. "I survived my first Montreal winter," Fatima celebrates with Claire in March when temperatures finally start rising. "It was harder than I expected, but I learned so much about adapting to new environments. Now I feel like I can handle anything." Fatima's winter experience teaches her that major environmental changes require patience, preparation, and willingness to modify daily habits and expectations. What inspiring stories of change and new beginnings we shared today! Laura successfully started her professional career and learned about workplace culture. Kevin moved to a big city and discovered how to build friendships as an adult. Sandra became a grandmother and found her role in a modern family. Miguel retired and created a meaningful new chapter of his life through teaching and volunteering. And Fatima adapted to living in a completely different climate and learned to thrive in challenging conditions. These stories show us that change is a natural part of life, and while it can feel scary or overwhelming at first, it often brings growth, new experiences, and unexpected joys. Each person in our stories found ways to adapt, learn, and create positive outcomes from major life transitions. Remember these important words from today: graduated, overwhelming, potential, identity, and adapt. These words help you talk about change, growth, and new experiences in your own life. The most important lesson from all our stories is that successful adaptation to change requires patience, openness to learning, and willingness to ask for help when needed. Whether you're starting a new job, moving to a new place, entering a new life stage, or facing any other major change, remember that growth takes time and every small step forward matters. I hope these stories inspire you to embrace changes in your own life with confidence and curiosity. Remember that every challenge is also an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and the world around you. Thank you for listening to Easy English Life. Keep practicing your English by listening to these stories again and paying attention to how people describe their feelings and experiences during times of change. Learning English itself is a journey of change and growth. See you next time for more inspiring English stories about the adventures and challenges that shape our lives. Have a wonderful week, and remember that change often leads to beautiful new beginnings.